The games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kind of...
Only on Nintendo 64. But it's a me, Mario!
Years have passed since the first war between man and orc. Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future. Odyssey easily attaches to any brand TV.
You're watching the most exciting game you will ever see on your TV set. Telstar by Coleco.
Have you ever heard of a game called Space War? It was developed at MIT in 1962, and originally it ran on a PDP computer. It was, funny enough, the size of a car. In the game, two players each control a spaceship circling a planet. The players can shoot at each other, turn their ships, and accelerate. The goal is, naturally, to hit the other player before being hit yourself. It was the first game ever made on a computer, 11 years before Pong would be released as the first commercially available video game. After this, video gaming for many years was mostly popular on consoles, such as the Magnavox Odyssey, Atari 2600, ColecoVision, Intellivision, and soon the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. PC gaming, of course, still existed, mainly in the form of the Commodore 64. But as we entered the 90s and Windows released Windows 95, a computer system that harbors a lot of nostalgia for me personally, computer games became just as, if not in some respects more, popular than console games. The convenience of having both work and play in one place made PC gaming attractive to many. As we entered the 2000s, free downloadable games became huge on the internet. Flash games from places like Newgrounds and Armor Games offered internet users free and fun games to play and download. As a consumer, you could now play games for free on this vast digital space. As time went on and we entered the 2010s, free games available to download would become ubiquitous. Thousands of games were now available on the web, and this helped a new form of entertainment explode on YouTube: the Let's Play. YouTubers uploaded videos of themselves playing games, sometimes commenting, sometimes not. And at first glance, it sounded quite boring. Yet, it wasn't. There was something about it that was quite endearing. It exploded, with people moving away from watching TV shows and movies to preferring to watch a stranger play a game. One such YouTuber gained infamy for uploading a video of them playing a peculiar horror game, a game they claimed to have found in the depths of the internet, and wanted to be the first to broadcast it to the masses. This game, and the Let's Plays of it from this channel, would go down in legend as what is, perhaps, at least to the mainstream layer of internet users, the darkest game ever made. A game called Sad Satan. In 2015, a YouTube channel called Obscure Horror Corner, run by a user simply known as Jamie, uploaded the first part of a playthrough for a chilling new horror game named Sad Satan. Obscure Horror Corner specialized in uploading videos of obscure horror games, titles that were off the beaten path, often ones that no one else had dared to play or had even heard of. What set Jamie's channel apart was the absence of narration in their playthroughs, a deliberate choice that amplified the sense of unease and isolation. In the video description of the first Sad Satan playthrough, Jamie claimed he had found the game on the dark web, the part of the internet that exists beyond the reach of traditional search engines, hidden from the public eye and known for its anonymity and often disturbing content. The first playthrough of Sad Satan revealed a game that was deeply strange, disjointed, and filled with shocking imagery that would suddenly appear on the screen, catching players off guard. The graphics were grainy and monochromatic, giving everything an unsettling and almost dreamlike quality. The visuals were glitchy and raw, with a sense of incompleteness that only heightened the tension. It was as if the game had been intentionally left unfinished, as though its very design was meant to feel fractured and out of place. The levels consisted mostly of long, narrow mazes, each stretching endlessly with walls that seemed to shift and bend unnaturally, adding to the game's disorienting nature. It felt less like a traditional game and more like an experience, best described as a walking simulator, though one that defied the typical tropes of even that subgenre. There were no enemies to fight, no puzzles to solve, and no items to collect. The only objective seemed to be navigating the labyrinthine corridors, moving through surreal and unsettling environments in search of whatever came next. Yet nothing ever felt like it was meant to make sense. Images would flash on the screen, such as pictures of Adolf Hitler, a Baphomet, and an antlered man standing at the end of a hallway of antlers, which would be the last image flashed on screen at the end of the first playthrough. The game's audio design was just as disturbing, if not more, as its visuals. It leaned heavily on recordings of infamous murderers such as Charles Manson, as well as distorted or reversed clips of interviews and music. Among these was a reversed version of I Love Beijing Tiananmen, a song infamous for its use in the equally obscure internet game Hong Kong 97, a title notorious in its own right for looping the track endlessly and featuring a shock image of a dead man as its game over screen. Also present were reverse clips from the Swedish Rhapsody number station, eerie broadcasts that only added to the sense of paranoia, and one particularly disturbing inclusion was the Doors' rendition of Alabama Song, which begins with the chilling lyrics, "Show me the way to the next little girl." This intentional choice reinforced what seemed to be the game's deeply unsettling main theme: child exploitation and abuse. Included also was a reversed segment of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, likely the inspiration for the game's name. Many believe that when played backwards, that segment of the song contained a backmasked message saying, "My sweet Satan," though this has largely been dismissed as pareidolia, the illusion of hidden meaning in randomness, its presence in the game only adding to its mystique. As more uploads were released, additional disturbing content surfaced, including photos of Jimmy Savile and Margaret Thatcher, and an image of the otaku killer, with his eyes and mouth cut out. Savile, a notorious child predator, ironically worked alongside Thatcher in a child abuse protection organization in Britain. Meanwhile, Tsutomu Miyazaki, the otaku killer, was a Japanese serial murderer who targeted and killed 4 young girls between 1988 and 1989. So this continues to hearken to what seems to be a clear theme of child abuse and deviance. And this theme would become even more apparent in one particular playthrough. While exploring, Obscure Horror Corner encountered the first in-game sprite other than the player character, a little girl with a mangled face. Soon after, the player found themselves trapped in a small enclosed room surrounded by more young girls. The game offered no explanation, no context, just a slow descent into to something increasingly disturbing. The lack of a coherent plot made the experience even more unsettling, reminiscent of the classic Eisenstein montage exercise, a disjointed series of images designed to evoke different emotions. Sad Satan doesn't aim to tell a story. Instead, it immerses the players in darkness, paranoia, and psychological horror. But today, I don't want to really focus specifically on the content within the playthroughs. Instead, I want to explore the mystery behind the game, its origins, its true purpose, and the unsettling truths hidden within. So let's go back to the beginning. Obscure Horror Corner. On June 25, 2015, the YouTube channel Obscure Horror Corner uploaded the first playthrough of Sad Satan. Along with the video, Jamie included a download link in the description, allegedly leading players to the dark web to access the game file. However, everyone who attempted to use the link found it broken, leading only to dead web pages. Despite this, Jamie's playthroughs of the game went viral, gaining traction and eventually catching the attention of Kotaku, before he had even finished uploading his playthroughs. In the Kotaku interview, Jamie claimed that strange things began happening to his computer after downloading the game. Shocking images would pop up at random, and his notepad app would repeatedly open on its own, displaying gibberish text filled with numbers and letters. He mentioned that within these blocks of nonsensical text, the number 666 appeared multiple times, and he also claimed that he never got a chance to take any screenshots. Jamie initially claimed in his first video's description that he had personally found the game on the dark web, but in the Kotaku interview, he gave a different version of events. This time he stated that an anonymous subscriber had tipped him off about the game, claiming to have found it while browsing the dark web. According to Jamie, the subscriber had downloaded Sad Satan from an enigmatic figure known only as ZK, an individual allegedly interested in Satanism, murder, and other dark subjects. Unable to get the game to run on their own system, the subscriber sent it to Jamie to play instead. Neither ZK nor the anonymous subscriber have ever been identified or contacted since. The mystery deepened on July 7th when Kotaku updated their article with a new statement from Jamie. In this update, he admitted that he had deliberately misled viewers about the download link because the full game contained graphic content that he had edited out of his YouTube uploads. This included extreme violence and a claim that contradicted an earlier YouTube comment Jamie had left, where he denied that the game contained any such material. Then just 18 minutes after Kotaku's update, a new post appeared on 4chan's paranormal board called X, containing a supposed download link for Sad Satan. The post's author? It was ZK. In this post, ZK called Jamie, or Obscure Horror Corner, a coward, accusing him of hiding the real version of the game from the public. Almost immediately, users began downloading the file, but what they found was far worse than what Jamie had shown on Obscure Horror Corner. Upon examining the game's files, players discovered disturbing hidden material, including graphic images of mutilated corpses and things that were also present in the gameplay itself. Additionally, many who ran the game reported severe computer issues consistent with malware infection. Systems slowed to a crawl, crashed unexpectedly, or behaved erratically, leading some to believe that the game had a malicious purpose beyond its unsettling atmosphere to destroy people's computers. Writing for TechMundo, contributor Nilton Klena noted that this version of Sad Satan differed significantly from what was showcased on Obscure Horror Corner. He characterized it as a clone, an even darker and corrupted version of the game, functioning not only as a disturbing experience, but also as a virus. Some even claimed that after installing the game, they would hear eerie sounds emanating from their PCs, whispers, static, and distorted voices, even when the computer wasn't in use. Others suggested that the game had buried itself deep within their system files, making it nearly impossible to remove, with ZK's identity unknown and no definitive answer as to whether this Sad Satan clone was the original unfiltered game that Obscure Horror Corner had censored, or a malicious modification by a third party. The mystery surrounding Sad Satan only grew deeper and more disturbing, because it was clear that whoever uploaded the clone version had access to criminal content. It became evident that this person was not only a deeply disturbed individual, but also, for all intents and purposes, a deviant and someone who needed to be investigated. However, just as speculation around ZK was intensifying, a bombshell revelation cast suspicion back onto Jamie, placing him at the center of scrutiny. A user on 4chan's X board made a post that directly challenged Jamie's entire backstory regarding the game's origins. The story about how he got the game is totally fake. The onion link he posted never actually existed. In fact, it is impossible to make it work with Tor. To support their claim, the poster linked a Wikipedia page on Tor, or the Onion router, explaining how onion links function. These are specialized web addresses required to access the dark web. But what came next completely shattered Jamie's credibility. The 4chan user pointed out a critical flaw in Jamie's original download link. They wrote, "The key part is decimal digits from 2 to 7. Now take a look at the link he provided. Jamie's supposed dark web link contained the number 9, a dead giveaway that it was completely fabricated. True onion links do not contain the number 9, meaning Jamie's claim of having found the game on the dark web might have been an outright lie." Then, in what many saw as an act of guilt or damage control, Jamie deleted all the video descriptions in his Sad Satan playthroughs immediately after the 4chan post went live. This only fueled more suspicion. As stated before, on July 7th, Kotaku's article was updated with new information that only worsened Jamie's credibility. The writer, after having received numerous tips from users, began breaking down key inconsistencies in Jamie's statements. The fake onion link suggested that Jamie never actually found the game on the dark web, and Jamie's admission that he misled people because of the game's alleged graphic content contradicted his earlier claim in the YouTube comments that no such content existed. At the same time, Reddit users were also digging into Jamie's online activity on the site, and what they found was even more suspicious. Some users tracked down Reddit posts made by Jamie where he had previously expressed an interest in developing horror games himself. This discovery led many to believe that ZK and the anonymous subscriber were completely fabricated, and that Jamie himself had created Sad Satan using the Unity and Terror engines. As more people analyzed Jamie's playthroughs, they also noticed another peculiar trend. As the uploads progressed, the game's designs appeared to improve. Levels became more intricate, featuring detailed textures and more structured layouts. The visual elements became more striking, and many users pointed out that some of the flash images in the videos felt edited in. This last detail was especially suspicious, because Jamie had a known habit of adding shock images to his other Let's Play videos in post-production. While this doesn't definitively prove that Jamie created the game, it raises an important question. Why would someone feel the need to add extra shock imagery to a game that is already so unsettling? Meanwhile, on Reddit's Sad Satan subreddit, another user speculated that Jamie might have been working with the game's creator as a part of a viral marketing stunt. The Obscure Horror Corner's channel's other videos have relatively low view counts, while the Sad Satan videos are much, much higher, the implications were kind of damning. If Jamie was indeed ZK, or at least in on the scheme, then the clone version of the game, the one containing criminal content, might not have been some outside corruption, but the full, original version of Sad Satan. If this were the case, Jamie could have been liable for investigation or worse criminal charges. Seemingly feeling the heat, Jamie finally broke his silence, posting the following statement on the Sad Satan subreddit in an attempt to clear his name. I didn't make the clone. Some seedy 4chan cunt thought it would be hilarious to troll some people at my expense. Yes, I am extremely angry about this because I am getting messages from people telling me that I fucked up their PC, and also apparently I'm a... 2. I honestly don't care what everyone thinks about the rest of this, but the clone has nothing to do with me. But this only raised more questions than answers. Who really created Sad Satan? Was it Jamie, ZK, or someone else entirely? Was there ever an anonymous subscriber who sent Jamie the game? And was ZK the true mastermind or just a fabrication? If the clone version wasn't Jamie's doing, then who made it? Let's dive into a few theories. Theory 1. Jamie is innocent. He was caught in the crossfire of an internet nightmare. According to this theory, Jamie was telling the absolute truth. He received the game from an anonymous subscriber who in turn had discovered it from the dark web, uploaded by a mysterious figure named ZK, someone who was a satanic affiliated game developer with malicious intent. Jamie, realizing how disturbing the game was but still wanting to showcase it, fabricated a fake onion link to add to the mystique about the game, while also preventing people from stumbling onto the unfiltered version that had criminal content in it. Then either ZK or some random 4chan troll created the clone version, injecting it with gore and malware. If this is true, Jamie was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. A YouTuber who found a disturbing game, played it, and unknowingly walked into a nightmare. But this theory has some major problems. For one, Jamie had publicly expressed an interest in creating horror games, so this obviously raises the suspicions. The second thing is that the fake onion link was not necessary. Why post one at all if you knew it was fake? Stating that he fabricated the link to protect followers from the game's true contents is just oxymoronic. Just don't post the link then. And then of course, as we stated before, the way the game seemed to evolve between uploads suggested that Jamie was altering it or staging parts of it. While this theory paints Jamie as a victim, the inconsistencies in his story make it hard to fully believe. Theory 2. Jamie created Sad Satan, but not the clone version. In this scenario, Jamie wasn't a victim but a storyteller and a liar. He created Sad Satan himself using the Unity and Terra engines, then fabricated the entire backstory about ZK and the anonymous subscriber to create a viral urban legend. The goal? To bring attention to his channel and to create a Cicada 3301 or Kanye Quest level internet mystery. At first, everything went exactly as planned. His videos went viral, his subscriber count skyrocketed, and major gaming sites like Kotaku picked up the mystery and interviewed him. But as more people scrutinized his story, cracks began to show. One of the biggest red flags came from Jamie's Kotaku interview, where he claimed that garbled text kept popping up on his screen while playing Sad Satan. However, he also stated that he never managed to take a screenshot of it. That alone is highly suspicious. If someone were genuinely experiencing random bursts of strange coded text appearing on their computer, wouldn't they document it? If it happened repeatedly, as Jamie claimed, it's hard to believe that he wouldn't have captured a single image of it. Beyond that, Jamie never mentioned this phenomenon to his subscribers, only in the interview. If he was genuinely disturbed or confused by it, why wouldn't he bring it up earlier? Why wouldn't he ask his audience for help or theories? Instead, it only surfaced when he was being questioned in the interview. making it feel like a last-minute addition to maintain the illusion of the mystery. All of this makes it increasingly clear Jamie wasn't just a player of Sad Satan, but he was likely the creator. But then things got out of control. A troll on 4chan, or possibly ZK himself, if he was real, decided to take things further, inserting themselves into the framework of this mythos that Jamie was creating, and made the clone version. Now Jamie was in serious trouble. So it could be that Jamie never intended for the game to contain or malware. That part was added by an outside party. But because he had already lied about it so much, and because the YouTube uploaded version of the game was already littered with nods to violence, murder, and child abuse, when the clone surfaced, everyone thought it might have been him. And finally, Theory 3. Jamie was behind it all. The game, the clone, and the entire hoax of it. This is the darkest theory. That Jamie wasn't just the creator of the original game, but also the mastermind behind the clone version and the entire framework of this entire mystery. According to this theory, ZK does not exist. The anonymous subscriber does not exist. Jamie made the game, staged the mystery, and later released a clone version on 4chan posing as ZK. This would mean Jamie wasn't just trying to create an urban legend, he was intentionally pushing it further into depravity. The criminal content in the clone version was either his doing, or he leaked the game online, knowing someone would take it to the next level. But then, as the controversy erupted, Jamie might have realized that he had gone too far. He backtracked, playing the victim, and tried to escape the situation before it got worse. If this theory is true, then Jamie's attempt at internet horror went far beyond just a hoax. It became something legally and ethically dangerous. You see, many had already believed that the 4chan post made by ZK felt like it was part of the meta-narrative of an ARG that maybe someone else was creating. The question remains, why would someone unaffiliated with this mystery implicate themselves by posting about this content? Another strange aspect was Jamie's lack of engagement with online forums or Reddit to investigate the origins of Sad Satan. Typically, when people stumble upon an internet mystery, they actively seek out answers, like the OP of the Tip of My Joystick Reddit thread about the so-called evil farming game. But Jamie remained oddly passive, seemingly uninterested in uncovering the truth about the game's origins. However, the most damning piece of evidence linking Jamie to both the Sad Satan clone and the entire mystery came from a discovery made by a few internet users who had downloaded the clone version of the game. Hidden within the game files were traces of the original computer's directory, revealing the username Jamie in the file path. This critical oversight that Jamie may have made suggested that the creator of the clone was in fact Jamie himself. His only response to this was that he had been framed and that the evidence had been doctored to implicate him. To many, it seemed like Jamie wanted to create a very dark and sordid internet urban legend, but it spiraled out of control, ultimately leading back to him. After his final correspondence, he vanished from the internet. The obscure horror corner YouTube has remained inactive for 9 years since the last Sad Satan upload. If Jamie was truly uninvolved, one would have expected him to resurface to clear his name or uncover the truth. Instead, he disappeared. And if he was in fact behind it all, then he had access to content that was indeed criminal. The truth is, we will likely never know the full story behind this eerie gaming mystery, and perhaps that was the point all along. Unlike Kanye Quest, which found some closure through the Nick Lyons interview, Sad Satan remains an unsolved enigma, one that may never be fully unraveled. In the years since its emergence, numerous clones have surfaced, many laced with malware or containing even more disturbing content than the infamous leak itself. It's best to steer clear of them. Even for this video, I didn't get the game, just borrowed footage from others. Call me paranoid, but I've had my computer hacked before and it was a shit experience. One that I don't want to risk repeating. That's a story for another time. The irony is that if Jamie's goal was to indeed create an internet urban legend, then he succeeded beyond measure. Sad Satan has cemented itself as one of the most infamous and disturbing gaming mysteries of the digital age. What started as a small YouTube playthrough spiraled into a viral sensation, drawing in thousands of curious players, theories, and journalists, all desperate to uncover the truth behind the internet's darkest game. Hey there everyone, Scott here, creator and host of the Darkhives. I hope you all enjoyed the latest episode on Sad Satan, part 2 of our gaming mystery series. But today I have an exciting announcement, an expansion of the Darkhives universe. Introducing my first official sub-venture, a podcast called The BlackBox, a brand new podcast hosted by yours truly, alongside my co-host Josh. While the Darkhives focuses on mysteries that lurk in the digital world, mostly, the BlackBox delves completely into the dark and unexplained happenings of the physical world. We're talking baffling disappearances, strange murders, and inexplicable events, the kind that leave us unsettled and scratching our heads. Some of the cases we'll be covering in this series include the disappearance of Malaysia Flight 370, MK Ultra conspiracies, the unexplained death of Elisa Lam, and of course the lost colony of Roanoke. And that's just the beginning. And you're in luck. The first 2 episodes of the BlackBox are already live on YouTube and Spotify, covering the disappearance of Malaysia Flight 370, as well as the Dyatlov Pass Incident. You can find the link to our BlackBox YouTube channel in the upper right corner of the video, as well as in the description, along with a link to our Spotify channel. Now, to be clear, this new project will not affect the production or output of the Darkhives in any way. The BlackBox is simply a sister venture, something a bit more casual and off the cuff that you can dive into on a more regular basis, as our goal is to release a new episode every week. And yes, the voice you'll be hearing over there is indeed me,
as you can tell.
I hope you enjoy the BlackBox. Head over there, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Darkhives coming soon. And as always, stay safe out there.